Hello, everybody. Mr. Wyatt here, and it is time for us to be reviewing to get ready for tomorrow's test. And so I have gone through each of the problems on the review, and you'll see the first 8 problems on this video, and then there are 2 other videos where I go through each of the remaining problems on the review. Of course, all of this is meant to help you prepare to make sure you're ready for tomorrow's test and that you do well. So let's go ahead and get started here. Number 1, what is the area of this parallelogram? Well, we have a formula for area of parallelograms, and we always start by writing the formula down. So A equals BH. That means area equals base times height. The base is 8 centimeters, the height is 7.9 centimeters. So I'm going to rewrite the formula, only now I'm substituting in values. Area equals 8 times 7.9. And so then we just go ahead and multiply those together, and that would be 63.2, it looks like. So our area here is 63.2 square centimeters. Okay, so it's just a matter of taking the base, the height, multiplying them together. That's it. All right, number 2. What is the area of this rhombus? Well, a rhombus is just a parallelogram. It's a special parallelogram where all of the sides happen to be congruent, meaning they're all the same length. But it doesn't really matter because a rhombus is a parallelogram. So we still use the same formula that we used on number 1, area equals base times height. So here our base is 20 inches. And we multiply that by our height, which is 21.5 inches. And so then we just go ahead and multiply those together, and then what do we get here? We get 430 square inches. Yeah, 430 square inches would be our answer. Notice area is always square units. So instead of just putting inches, we have inches squared. But the best way to say that is square inches. All right, number 3, what is the area of this triangle? Well, every triangle is exactly half of a parallelogram. If I were to trace this triangle here, for example, as best as I can, and then I went ahead and just grabbed this tracing that I just made and rotated it, you'll notice it clicks to that other triangle and it creates a parallelogram. Well, to find the area of a parallelogram, you just take, to find the area of a parallelogram, you just take base times height. But when you look at this parallelogram, the triangle, which is shaded blue, is only half of it. And that's why the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. All right, I'm going to get this other triangle out of here that I drew there. That's just in our way, being a distraction. Okay, so now what is the base and what is the height of this triangle? What's interesting with this triangle is you can't really show the height inside of it because it's sitting at such an angle. So the height has been shown off to the outside because the top of the triangle is running right along, right along this level here. And the bottom of the triangle is running right along this level here. And that distance between those two levels is your 5 yards. I could have drawn that 5-yard measurement in over here as well on this other side of the triangle to find the height of the triangle being 5 yards. Nonetheless, 5 yards is your height, 2 yards is your base. So to find the area of this triangle, we take 1/2 times the base, which is 2, times the height, which is 5. Now you can take 2 times 5, which is 10, and then cut that in half and get 5 square yards for your area. That's great. Or some people would take half of 2, which is 1, and then 1 times 5 is 5 square yards. A third way you could do this if you're using a calculator, and I don't think you should need a calculator for this one, but you could always in your calculator type 0.5 instead of 1/2. So 0.5 times 2 times 5. Try it and see. Do you get 5 yards squared for your answer in each of those ways? You should. All right, let's look at number 4. What is the area of this right triangle? Now, let's write our formula down. Area equals 1/2 times base times height. In a right triangle, your base and your height are the legs, and the legs are the sides that are forming the right angle. Here's our right angle right here. So the 7-meter and 24-meter measurements are your legs. Let's call the 7-meter measurement our base, the 24-meter measurement our height. We will not be using this measurement at all when finding the area. We would need that measurement if we were finding the perimeter or distance around this triangle, but we just need the area. So let's fill in our numbers. 1/2 times the base, which is 7, times the height, which is 24. So if you have a calculator, you can go 0.5 times 7 times 24 equals. Or you can take 7 times 24 equals, and then divide by 2 to get half of it. But what I would do, since 24 is even, I would just take half of 24, which is 12, and take 12 times 7, and that's 84. And it is area, so I have square meters for my label. All right. Next problem, we have the area of a triangle. Ooh, my problem got cut off here a little bit when I was copying it. Oh well. The area of a triangle is 56 square meters. The height is 16 meters. What is the base of this triangle? Oh boy. So we're working with area of triangles here. So I'm going to write the formula down. Area equals 1/2 times base times height. And then I'll start substituting in numbers, values that I'm given, that I know. Do I know A, the area? Yes, I do. The area of the triangle is 56 square meters. So 56, I put that in for A, equals 1/2 times the base. Do I know what the base is? No, that's what I'm trying to find. What is the base? So I'll just put B there. Times the height. I do know the height. That is 16 meters. So I'm going to have to solve this equation. On the right-hand side, I can take 1/2 times 16. Half of 16 is 8. That still is being multiplied by an unknown value. I'll put B there. So 8B equals, over here it's 56. So now 8 times something is 56. Can you think of what that number would have to be? You might know. I can show myself dividing this by 8 and also this by 8. It's a one-step equation. So we have to do the same thing to both sides of the equation. And so B equals 7. Let's go back here. What is the base of the triangle? Well, the triangle has a base of 7 meters. It's 7 meters. Notice it's 7 meters and not 7 square meters because I'm not finding the area. I'm just finding the length of one of the sides of the triangle. All right, number 6, what is the area of this trapezoid? When you first looked at this image, you might have thought it was a triangle, but notice it's been cut off here on the bottom. So trapezoids, we use this formula to find the area. Area equals 1/2 times the height times the sum of the bases, base 1 plus base 2. It's just like the formula for area of a triangle, except you're adding the bases together. What are the bases? The bases are the sides that are parallel to each other in this figure. The top and the bottom in this picture are parallel to each other. So I'm going to call this base 1 and this base 2. 12 meters is the height. This 6-meter measurement is not needed for this problem. So I'm going to find the area of this trapezoid by filling in my numbers now. 1/2 times the height, which is 12 meters, times base 1 plus base 2, that's 13 plus 1. Okay. So 13 plus 1 is 14. What's 1/2 times 12? It's 6. So I end up with 6 times 14, which is 84 square meters. Okay. So, and now again, you could have taken 12 times 14, which would be 168, and then divide that by 2 to find half of it. And that would give you 84 as well. Okay, so there you go. That's the area of that trapezoid. Number 7, we have another trapezoid. What is the area of this trapezoid? So I'm going to write my formula down. Area equals 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. The bases are the sides that run parallel to each other. And in this figure, the top here is at an angle. The bottom is perfectly horizontal. Those are not parallel, so those are not your bases. The bases are the left and right sides in this figure. This base is 12 meters long. I'll call that base 1. This other base is 12 meters here plus 6 meters here. So that's 18 meters right there for the length of that base. I'm going to call that base 2. That's the trick on this problem, is knowing you have to add 12 and 6 together to get the length of that base. Okay, and then the other trick is knowing the height of this figure. Now you can't measure up down because your height here would be 12, but here it would be 18. You can't have different heights. So the only way to measure the height in a trapezoid is to go between the distance between the parallel sides. So your height is actually this measurement right here, the distance between your two bases. And that height is 8 meters. Okay? So now I can substitute in my numbers. 1/2 times the height, which is 8, times base 1 plus base 2. That's 18 plus 12. All right, 18 plus 12 is 30. So now we have 1/2 times 8 times 30. And I'm just going to go left to right. Half of 8 is 4. 4 times 30 is 120 square meters. But again, the trick on this problem was knowing that the bases are the sides that are parallel to each other. And the height, instead of going up, down, it goes left, right, because it's the distance between those two bases. All right, one more here. Number 8. What is the area of this kite? And you could separate this into like 4 triangles, find each of their areas and add them together. Or you could separate it into 2 identical triangles. We have this dark blue one up here and a lighter blue one down here. Find the area of one of them and then double it to get the whole kite. But the easiest way to find the area of a kite is to take 1/2 D1 D2. D stands for the diagonals in this figure. We have a diagonal that runs from here to here. It's this measurement here. And we have another diagonal that runs, maybe I should switch colors, from here to here. So let's find each of those measurements. We'll start there. Okay, so diagonal 1 is 8 plus 4. So diagonal 1 is 12. Okay, diagonal 2 is 3 plus 3, which is 6. So those are the diagonal measurements. So now I just have to take 1/2 times 12 times 6. All right, now you could take half of 12, which is 6, and 6 times 6 is 36 square feet. That would be a great way to do this problem, and you're done. Or you could take 12 times 6 is 72. 72 divided by 2 is 36 square feet. That's it. Hope that helps.